Welcome, amigos, Mexico. On one hand, ancient pyramids straight out of a storybook and charming colonial cities. On the other, modern cities where life moves at a crazy pace and lively resorts. And to top it all off, the ever-present mariachi music that makes you want to dance, the aroma of tortillas that reminds you of vacation, and tequila flowing freely. This time, I'm taking you to the very heart of Mexico, to its capital, Mexico City. We'll wander through Zocalo, the main square of the city where history intertwines with the present. We'll visit Teotihuacan to feel the spirit of the ancient Aztecs and breathe in the atmosphere of mystery. And finally, we'll visit the home of Frida Kahlo, one of the most outstanding painters of the 20th century, a legendary woman who still inspires millions. But that's not the end of our adventure. The paradise beaches of Cancun await us, where the turquoise waters of the Caribbean Sea wash over the white sandy shores like a warm blanket. There will be time to relax, like a hammock between palm trees, but also to get to know the dark side of Mexico, a country marked by the drug war and corruption. Ready for a real Mexican adventure? Vamonos! The heart of Mexico, Zócalo and the ancient city. Zócalo, also known as Plaza de la Constitución, is the heart of Mexico, the true center of the world, a huge square, around which the most important buildings of the city are concentrated. The cathedral, the National Palace, the City Hall. This is where the life of Mexicans takes place. Souvenir sellers meet here, offering all sorts of wonders, street musicians playing melodies that sink into your soul, couples in love whispering sweet nothings, and tourists from all over the world with cameras bigger than sombreros. But Zócalo is not only the center of modern Mexico, it's a place steeped in history. In Aztec times, the main temple of Tenochtitlan, the capital of their empire, stood here. Today we can admire its ruins, discovered during archaeological work, like treasures hidden by pirates. And if you want to go back in time even further, head to Teotihuacan. It is one of the most important archaeological sites in Mexico, located about 50 kilometers from the capital, a stone's throw away as they say. In its heyday between the 1st and 7th centuries of our era, Teotihuacan was one of the largest cities in the world, a true metropolis. Walking along the Avenue of the Dead, along which the pyramids of the sun and the moon stretch, you can feel the spirit of the ancient inhabitants of this place. Breathe in the history and feel the magic of the past. Frida Kahlo, the rebellious painter. Frida Kahlo is one of the most recognizable figures in Mexico, a true icon. A painter, a feminist, a woman with a strong personality who still inspires millions today. Her life was marked by pain and suffering, which became the main theme of her work, full of emotion and honesty. Frida Kahlo's house, called La Casa Azul, the Blue House, is located in the Coyoacan district and is now a museum dedicated to her life and work, a true mecca for art lovers. Wandering through the rooms where Frida lived and worked, you can get to know her extraordinary story, full of ups and downs, like a Mexican telenovela. In La Casa Azul you will see, among other things, Frida's bed, where she spent years after a bus accident, her painting studio where works of art were created, and also a collection of personal items that say a lot about her personality. Frida Kahlo is a controversial figure, but undoubtedly fascinating. Her paintings still provoke and encourage reflection. Cancun, paradise on earth. Cancun is a city located on the Yucatan Peninsula on the Caribbean Sea, a place straight out of a postcard. It is famous for its beautiful beaches, turquoise water, and luxurious hotels where you can feel like royalty. It's the perfect place for an all-inclusive vacation where you can forget your worries and indulge in blissful laziness. Walking along the beach, you can admire the blue sky, green palm trees, and white sails floating on the azure surface of the sea like swans on a lake. The water here is so clear that you can see the bottom even at great depths, and fish swim right next to you. And the sand is so fine and white that it resembles flour. You just want to build a sandcastle. In Cancun, you will find plenty of attractions for tourists. Boredom is the last thing you have to think about. You can go scuba diving, snorkeling, swimming with dolphins, and even go on a pirate ship cruise. And in the evening, numerous restaurants, bars, and nightclubs await you, where the fun lasts until dawn. Secrets of Tulum, temples and legends of the Maya. Tulum is an ancient Mayan city located on a cliff above the Caribbean Sea, a place full of magic and mystery. Its name means wall or fortification and refers to the defensive walls that once surrounded the city, protecting it from intruders. Tulum is one of the few Mayan cities that survived until the Spanish conquest, a true miracle. Its inhabitants were mainly engaged in trade, and the city was an important trading port where the routes of merchants from different parts of the world crossed. Today, Tulum is a popular tourist attraction, attracting like a magnet. You can admire the ruins of temples, palaces, and residential houses, feel the spirit of the former inhabitants, and travel back in time, as well as enjoy the beautiful views of the sea that will take your breath away. The shadow of the cartels, the dark side of Mexico. Mexico is a country with a rich culture and history, but also a dark side, a country with two faces. This is where some of the most powerful drug cartels in the world operate, and violence and corruption are commonplace. The drug war, which has been going on in Mexico for years, has already claimed thousands of victims, leaving behind sadness and sorrow. The cartels are fighting each other for control of drug trafficking routes to the United States, and their victims are not only members of rival gangs, but also innocent people who were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Corruption is another serious problem in Mexico, as common as bread. It reaches the highest levels of government, and many politicians and government officials are in the service of the cartels, creating a system that is difficult to break. Mexican courage, fighting for the future. Despite the difficult situation, many Mexicans do not lose hope for a better future, like a spark of hope in the darkness. There are non-governmental organizations operating throughout the country that fight for human rights, counteract violence, and help victims of conflict, like Good Samaritans. Mexicans are a proud and courageous people with character. They are not afraid to talk about the problems of their country and fight for a better tomorrow, for the future of their children. In recent years, more and more people have been getting involved in social protests, demanding that the authorities effectively fight crime and corruption, to live in a country where you don't have to be afraid. Tequila and sombrero, stereotypes versus reality. Mexico is a country often seen through the prism of stereotypes, like through rose-colored glasses. Tequila, sombrero, mariachi, poncho. These are just some of the symbols associated with this country, like the flag with the eagle. Of course, all these elements are part of Mexican culture, but Mexico is much more than just tequila and sombrero. It is a country with a rich history, diverse culture, and beautiful nature. A trip to Mexico is a great opportunity to get to know this country from the inside out, off the beaten track and stereotypes, to discover its true face and fall in love with it head over heels. See you in Mexico, amigos. Mexico is a country that stays in our memory for a long time. It's a place where history intertwines with the present and culture delights and invites you to explore. Visit Mexico and see for yourself. And if you want to see more adventures in the wild corners of the world, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, leave a like and a comment. And of course, don't forget the bell so you don't miss the next videos. Hasta la vista, amigos. See you around.